Is there a thing that you did that may feel realistic to people that play it, but it's actually really wrong?
Oh, there's now. I'm going to be careful on how this is phrased, of course, because the bosses don't like us saying anything is wrong or anything is incorrect. But everything is a balance between what is realistic, what is accurate, and what is doable at an interactive frame rate, and what is pleasant to look at, and what is navigable from a UX point of view. So there's all those things to balance and to fit in. But whilst still giving the impression of scientific plausibility at all times. So what's a good example of this? Well, I suppose I can comment on something which have been known in the game since 2014.
I guess that's safe.
Yes, the way that we generate the stars and the star clusters and whatnot sometimes results in an artifact where one sector of space is more populated than another sector of space, and you can visually see that line where it goes from one to the other. And unfortunately, once that's in and baked out for the galaxy, we can't update that. But also, we're in real time building a model of the galaxy, which when you're doing this in research, you're using computing clusters, you're not doing it interactively, you're letting it run overnight. So there are some performance things to balance up there, so that you do end up with the occasional outlier. Also, in terms of things like a good example, we have white dwarfs and we have neutron stars in Elite Dangerous. Now, each one of these in our game has a jet, a relativistic particle jet coming out of both poles. Now, this in real life is produced due to an accretion disk around the star, and little bits of matter getting whipped around the magnetic fields and shot out at the poles. Not every white dwarf out there has an accretion disk like that, but all of our games have this effect because, at some point there was an arts versus science versus code discussion at some point, and it was decided that this is a feature of our things. We want this to be on, so we've got this thing rendering. We don't have the accretion disk rendering, which would have formed it, but it's there and it looks awesome and we like it and it fits in with our game very well. So there's sometimes those discussions there. So it's based in scientific reality about what a relativistic jet cone might be and how it might look, but there's that balance there. Thinking of other examples off the top of my head.
We have an example. We have an example as well. We, for example, tested out the gravity in Deliver Us the Moon on the Moon, and when we put kind of the real value on how gravity would feel, the jump would feel a little clumsy. So it in a way, when people played it, they said like, yeah, but this looks not real. Like you wouldn't jump that high. You actually would. So what we did is we made a gravity feel like what you think it would feel on the moon. It's not based on the real values. Although when we did the real values, it felt fake. So that's, for example, one. Can you think of another one where we try to do something different, but it feels very good or it looks very good?
I think the color of the moon in our game, it's gray. Right? Yeah. And most people expect the moon to be gray. And while it is largely gray, it has blue, it has orange, it has green. And we did try a test with some more, with some moon material that we put a little bit more color in, right? A little bit more saturation. And everybody said, what planet is this? Am I on Mars? Is this some alien thing? We have no idea, right? So let's just make it gray again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have an atmosphere either, but in our skybox we put a little bit of haze, just a tiny bit of fog, just to make it look like people almost like you would expect it to be, not how it actually is.
Yeah.
right?
We had the exact same thing, both with the moon and with other atmosphereless worlds. In that, both the moon and many exoplanets might have a lot of feldspar, which is very beige. In some of our releases, we had very beige planets because that's how it kind of should have been. But then we get called out for the beige plague, they called it. And yes, we needed to inject maybe more variety and ensure that there's a again, for the colors, for the art, but also for the readability in the game. And that's exactly what we had to do with the fog as well on our atmosphereless worlds. Without a little bit of fog in, it was very hard to gauge distance for the distant terrain. It's harder to navigate, harder to get a feel of where you were as a player.
Definitely.
So, yeah, same.
And even also with the camera, we have the automatic adjustment on the exposure. When you're on the moon, the surface is so bright from the reflection of the sunlight that it's almost white, and so you can't see any of the stars. But if you walk around in a video game on the moon and you wouldn't see stars while walking on the moon, you would say, "Where are all the stars?"
Yeah.
You know? You have to see them.
Again, had the exact same conversation with our art director.
Yes.
Well, what did you choose?
Oh, just seeing some stars.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not navigating in the sky whilst you're down there, but it does give you fewer points of reference when you're moving around and turning the camera and whatnot. So, yeah.
So in a way, the people that play our games, they are a little bit misled, or kind of have they get like the more magical perception of what reality is.